They say a mother's love never fades. But what happens when love is replaced by greed and the one person you trust the most steals your future? I'm Nora Vale, and you're watching Revenge Echo, where every betrayal finds its voice again. Today's story is about a daughter, a mother, and the price of a stolen dream. Don't forget to subscribe and stay till the end, because this story will remind you that sometimes justice doesn't need anger, only time. My name is Clara Monroe, and for most of my life, I believed my mother was my world. We didn't have much, but I always thought love was enough to fill the gaps money left behind. My father passed away when I was 10, a heart attack, sudden and cruel. Mom was only 35, and she never remarried. She said one heartbreak was enough. We lived in a tiny apartment above a bakery. Every morning, the smell of fresh bread would wake me before my alarm, and I'd see my mother already working, stitching dresses for neighbors, doing laundry, running errands. She was unstoppable. And I wanted to be just like her, strong, determined, and brave. When I turned 18, something incredible happened. I got accepted irui in awai iwai warui hilmhawi I our Crest University, one of the best engineering colleges in the country. I've been waiting for that email for months. When I saw congratulations flashing on the screen, I screamed so loud the entire building probably heard me. Mom hugged me tight, pretending to be happy. She even said, "Your father would have been proud. You're finally going to make something of yourself." But behind her smile, there was something I did notice. Flicker carries seicho or car wuri overisho awi hesi ori sidari ori orientation. A shadow. The tuition wasn't fully covered. I'd gotten a partial scholarship, but I still needed about $12,000 to cover housing and other expenses. Dad had left behind a small life insurance policy. And the bank held a college trust fund in my name. That money was meant for me, and Mom was the legal guardian. She promised she'd handle the withdrawal. "Don't worry, Clara," she said. "It's your future. I'll take care of it." And I believed her because she was my mother. A month before college started, I began packing. Every shirt, every notebook felt like a ticket to freedom. I could finally study, work hard, and maybe lift us both out of this small life. Then the email came. Final tuition payment overdue. Deadline approaching. My stomach dropped. I asked Mom, "Did you send the payment?" She smiled like nothing was wrong. "Of course, the bank might just be processing it." 2 days passed, then 5, then 10. I called the university. They said, "We haven't received any transfer from your account, Miss Monroe. You're home." My heart pounding, my mind refusing to believe what I already feared. When I walked in, Mom was on the phone, laughing, wearing new gold earrings and holding a glossy brochure from a real estate agency. "Yes, I've made the full down payment," she said. "This little apartment isn't enough. I deserve better." The papers on the table read, "Property Investment Agreement, $12,000 paid in full." My father's money, my future, gone. When she saw me, she froze for a second. Then her expression hardened. "Clara, why are you home?" I asked quietly. "You used my college fund?" Her voice turned cold. Greater than, "Yes, I did. Because you don't need to go running after some useless degree. You think engineering will feed us? You'll end up like me. Tired, poor, and disappointed. I'm saving us both the trouble." I stared at her. "Greater than no, Mom. You're saving only yourself." That night, I packed my bag and left. I didn't have a plan, just a fire in my chest that wouldn't die. For months, I stayed at a friend's place. I worked 2 jobs, mornings at a coffee shop, nights at a small printing company. Some days, I slept on the floor, my backpack as a pillow. But I never stopped believing that I could still make something of myself. I applied for every scholarship I could find. I took online courses late at night. I learned coding on borrowed Wi-Fi, and slowly, painfully, I began to rebuild what she destroyed. Every time I wanted to give up, I heard her words echoing, greater than "you don't deserve education." Those words became my fuel. My revenge wasn't anger, it was progress. 2 years later, I got accepted again, this time with a full scholarship. The university remembered my previous record and even offered me part-time work in their IT lab. I finally stepped into Hillcrest University, not as a broken girl, but as a woman determined to rise. Mom didn't call, didn't text, didn't ask how I was, and that hurt more than anything. But life has its way of circling back. 4 years later, I graduated top of my class. I had offers from 3 tech companies. When I landed my first job, salary 5 times what Mom ever made, I felt no pride, only peace. I bought my own apartment, and nothing fancy but mine. One evening, as I unpacked boxes, my phone rang. Unknown number. It was her. "Clara, I need your help," she said, her voice trembling. "The investment I made, it was a scam. They took everything. I have nowhere to go. I didn't know whether to laugh or cry." Karma had come home. When I saw her, she looked older, thinner, fragile. The same woman who once told me education was useless was now begging the daughter she called worthless for help. I didn't say much. I let her stay with me for a while. She cooked, cleaned, and stayed quiet, like she was living inside her own guilt. One night she came into my room and said, "Clara, I don't expect forgiveness, but I need you to know I wasn't trying to hurt you. I was scared. I thought money would make life easier. I didn't realize I was taking away your chance to have a better one." I looked at her, and for the first time in years, I saw not a villain, but a broken woman. Maybe that was her punishment, living long enough to understand what she destroyed. Months passed. I got promoted at work. We started talking again, not as mother and daughter, but as 2 women who had both learned hard lessons. Sometimes I'd catch her watching me while I worked on my laptop, her eyes full of regret and pride at the same time. One day, she said, "I wanted to buy a bigger house to feel secure. But watching you, Clara, I realized security isn't money. It's knowing your child can stand tall even when you've failed them." I smiled and said, "You taught me that in my chess my chiu show incru my on your chiu painful. Sometimes revenge doesn't look like payback, suwai. It looks like growth. The best revenge isn't proving them wrong, it's becoming everything they said you couldn't be." I'm Nora Vale, and this was Revenge Echo. Every crate in si eri gyurvori perbrari, betrayal finds its echo. Don't forget to subscribe, share this story, and remember, love doesn't always protect, but truth always turns.